Howdy ho, friends. I used to come on 2018, every single one of these videos and say, "What's up, galactic travelers?" Anybody on here remember that? I know there's only one on right now because I just jumped on, but I'm bringing that up right now because that was back in 2018, and in 2018 that was correct. We were galactic travelers in 2018 and 2019. What's happening right now and through the end of the year is that all your galactic travelers are hitting the ground, or they're not at all. They never make it, or not yet. So today is, my Lord, it's Friday, so it's Venus Day. And I finished the charts. So I've actually, there's different times in this process that I've had to come on in the past 7 years and do a whole group of charts. And reading charts and the astronomy and understanding the transmutation and alchemy of the energy when you activate somebody, and then how that energy creates a motor in them and to the person who is activating you, because it's a dance. When I do a big group of charts all at once, and especially paid ones, because for years I wasn't in the middle of this, I wasn't able to even do that. I was having to just use my gifts in order to get us through this, and use the knowledge and run them on the people that were coming in my surroundings and around me through social medias, what have you. But there's only a couple of times that I've marketed and gotten a big group of y'all to come in, and it only happened when we needed to weave new patterns. It only happened when we needed to weave new cosmic patterns. And so I just finished the last chart today in this group that started in September, and there really were like 3 waves that I had to do these charts in, and y'all all came in right on time when you were supposed to. I did them all in order, and it's just mind-boggling whenever you understand this stuff, and then you guys are coming in at different times. Y'all don't know any of each other. Y'all happen to find us through different ways. You know that you need to order a chart even though you really don't even know what this is. And how all of you knew and heard, got the message, picked up the phone, made the order, got in contact with us if you couldn't make the order, because in the middle of this, we had the website go down and all these things because of the transmutation that we were in the middle of. So I had to do a pause on these last 2 charts, and I finished one yesterday, and I finished the last one today. Now, what was interesting about these 2 charts, and the last one ended, it was a 1972 chart, which, by the way, like, of all the years that I've done, 1972 and the 70s and the 80s is by far the least amount of charts that I see from a specific time year. So the last one I did today was 1972, which is the same year that I came in, and which is when the Ascended Masters came in. Oh, Lord. Matthew, Venus between my moon and my Mercury. So what happened with these last 2 charts that was extremely interesting, without getting into detail, is that both of them had energy in their first house conjunct their AC and energy right above it in the 12th house in the same sign, which I hadn't seen, if I've seen it before, I hadn't seen it in a really long time, to the point where yesterday I was like, I've never seen this before, because hers was completely conjunct. Now, both of the last two charts that I did ended up having that in two different signs in two different ways, associated to Libra and Aries, both of them in different ways. And that means that their beginning starts at the end. It like whenever you've got energies that are conjunct like that in over your AC from your first house to your second house, I mean to your 12th house, it's in order to master your 12th house. It's part of your first house. So it's really like coming full circle and coming back in to master oneself. So both of the charts had that, and then both of them had very specific timelines in Taurus that dealt with Constantine, believe it or not. Different years. One was 1300s, one was 500s, one was 700s, but the 700 time count from the one lady and the 1300 time count from the other one both had to do with Constantine timelines and the theft of said timelines. Because the energies in these Taurus timelines had to do with the Taurus Scorpio connection and the manipulation. So I know I might have lost some of y'all, because I know I'm getting super organic astronomy over here, but it's just important for me to note that fact with what is transpiring right now with the connections that we just finished. And just on that topic, now, if you're wanting a chart, the website is working again. And I also have this in a templated form, which now I'm getting them done in an hour and a half. So I'm hoping to be able to get it down to an hour soon. So the group of charts that comes in next, there'll be a group. If I end up keeping on doing them and pressing them, right now I'm going to leave it open. There might be a time where I shut it off, but because we're doing some different things, but I don't want to get lost on that. That's just for if you feel like you need to get your chart, cohu32.com, and it's a digi chart. So hi, yay, there's 9 on here. So I just finished doing that. And this morning, I had done the chart yesterday, and this morning when I woke up, we had a series of commands that I was on with my 2 girls having to make, and I'm just going to go ahead and I pulled them up to see what I commanded to make sure that, and when we talk about commands, realize that the human runs everything down here. It really does. The more human that you are, whenever you pull out of the matrix, and the more that you assimilate all your body pieces and everything to where you're not being run by the machine, we are the ones who set standards. 2 humans can outrule an entire sect or cult if they're only living off codes. Because the human that's assimilated in with all their DNA lines, that's connected to the ones that knows that they help the collective, that knows it's united with the collective, okay? Why you have to make commands. Now, you have to make commands at different levels for different reasons. And typically it's in the beginning of when you get into a dimension. So like right now, we're going into another level up. In fact, if you make some commands and then you stop making them just because it's not coming up, and then all of a sudden you feel like you need to command some stuff again, well, that gives you an idea that you just leveled up into an unknown territory that was basically, and if you can think of it only being run by artificial intelligence or machines for the collective, there wasn't a group of human minds in the room at all to be able to even tell the energy what to do, how to communicate, right? And so when I wake up in the mornings like this, and thank God it doesn't happen like it did, because I mean, my group's done this for years, and I mean, we would wake up every morning and I would just have a series of commands that were coming through my field, because I'm conscious and activated in every single one of those dimensions, and I'm watching the energies move around in every dimension, and I'm witnessing in those dimensions where stuff's not connecting, or where things were connected that shouldn't be connected. So whenever especially in the mornings, I wake up with a series of commands because I've downloaded them. And in my conversations with whoever I'm talking to, I'll just know I need to call and get this out, or I need to discuss it, or whatever. And then once I get on the subject and I key in on a specific area, which is different every single time, then I hit a strand of commands, it seems. And it's like I'll see one overall command. And as soon as I say it, then it's like within seconds, there'll be more and more of them that are coming out, and usually related to whatever change that I ordered in the beginning. I command to be shown who is running Trump in the next 12 hours. It's 2:24. Who is puppeting Trump? I command that all timelines rise over any Epstein timeline in Israel, NATO. I don't care. I don't care how far back they went. Delete them all. Delete the infrastructure and controls to the people. Delete them all. There was never an Epstein. It doesn't matter. You can pay those people to walk around and do whatever. It no longer attaches to the human race. No one's tuned to it. And we're going to take it up a level higher to where they have no fucking connection. And I command that it be done right the fuck now. I command all my undercover agents in every order across the world that ever was attached to my energy and bound to me in any plane for any reason to now activate 100%. I command the sun to blink. I command the sun to blink 40 times in a pace. 40 blinks from the sun. All ankle chains on the dragon, I command come off. And I command the dragon rise from the ocean through the sun. I command direct connection to all dragon energy, dinosaur energy that's stored on this planet to alchemize through my field and make the final connections for override. And I command all the alchemy keys for the ocean dragon to pull up to make this final terraform and delete the lower grid system. And all ship correspondence and communication from the hires as we descend, I command for the world to see our light in our communication system as we enter. If they drop the New York ball, then I need the whole world flipped upside down before that ball drops. Or when they drop that ball, it's gonna flip the world upside down. One of them. And to the CIA that's fucking listening to this, you did this, not us. And you will not blame us when no one's come to talk to us, any of us, in person, to find out why this is all going on. There is nothing that you can charge us with to come back in order to clear the manipulation that's been done to the people and the human race. And we will continue. And you cannot touch us, charge us with any fucking attempts, because your whole fucking reality was all attached to my goddamn DNA line, and none of y'all gave a shit, and it ended up in the whole world becoming a pedo fucking cannibalism. And you will listen to me, and you will heal, and you will work for us to assist the human race, or you can go down with them. And if you're planning on assisting them, I cut all channels and you scrabble every fucking form of my voice that comes in. And you don't get to know what we're doing. And that's how you know we're the real fucking deal. There ain't no magic involved in this. I command all kingship, queenship rituals done over time to be taken off all individuals who ever entered the process, and all connections that they have in their mind from said ritual attached to the human race, the ascended group now control in all ways, starting right now, 2:40. All connections to Trump and Kanye West, I command cut and nullified and flip to my favor. The word Jenner, delete all association to Jen and N-I-N, and Jen, Jen, tranny Jen. Oh my God, right now. I command Bruce Jenner deleted from all Mona Lisa and Flip Princess codes and completely deleted from time. And Rob Kardashian deliver what it is that he needed to deliver to me, and it be done. Delete Simpson and all J names and K names. I command Khloe Kardashian codes cut from me, all mimic associations with California, and all California codes that I ever laid throughout time, delete from any being that has a Kardashian connection. And all connections Kardashians held, unravel from all that connected in and worked with them until they find my birth certificate. Where is my fucking birth certificate? All witches that have used my energy, you cannot stop thinking about Chastia. You cannot stop looking for my face. You are sourcing me out in order to help you. All witches in the higher realms, you are looking for me, and you find me as a friend. You will find me as a friend. You will come to me with an offering. You come to me. You will give me an offering. You will assist my collective into helping straighten out what you rendered worthless, so that you can complete your ascension and get out of the abyss. If you witches want all your power back, then you will source me out, and you will come help us and give us the opportunities that were given to you to achieve, so that we can assist the collective. And that is how you get all your power back and out of the abyss. You work for me until it's completed. And all. So those were the commands that, if you're just now coming on, hi everybody. Hi Kreba, hi Charta Chronicles, hi Lucas, I'm doing good. So those were the commands that came in this morning. Now, the reason that those commands are coming in right now is because of where our sun is. And our sun is currently, and this is Lyra 1, it's number 26. It's the first root race and the first root races, okay? And it's the creator beings and the original creator beings that have the ability to create from nothing but thought. Not even the word. Nothing but thought. And this is where Polis and the original pole star is. And I was explaining to this on one of the girls' charts the past couple of days. You know, like if you're Polus, which my Jupiter is Polus, by the way, in my chart. So my Jupiter is on Polus. Well, that's the pole star. How did it end up in Gemini? How did the pole star up here end up down here in Betelgeuse in Gemini? I can tell you how. It was folded over and tied to it. It was folded over and it was tied to it. You got, whenever you're thinking about Capricorn, you want to think of it, like a harp or a fiddle. And the strings are running through here, and the cosmos runs through these strings. So these original strings that are at the front, that are bipolus, that are attached to the original creator beings that created this realm, the planets, the humans, the realm, all of it, from nothing but thought. Lyra 2 is going to be all the beings that are actually made from it, that actually got a body from the thought. So Lyra 2 starts really 8 degrees, and so we're almost there. So it's there's really 2 harp systems now. This is why if you're feeling a release or a hot flashes, or like, cause we had a massive clearing over Texas yesterday. I was gonna pull up the video to show y'all. If I can find it, I will. We had a massive clearing out with Texas yesterday. I mean, it cleared out over, like, basically that draconian green screen. I'm realizing now how they were using the cloud seeding, created the Mercury in the clouds. The meteorologist is saying that it's a made event, that it's some type of harp event, because you could see the storm clearing from the grids, like it was stretching it, and it was making the lightning go off because of the cloud seeding. No, that's not what it was. What it was all of our energy was exploding out of the grid, and it lit up the green screen. Because those clouds and how they're spraying them, they're basically spraying like big illusional green screens to mirror different energies across the world. So there's 2 harps, because if you Lyra 2, it starts coming into the body. Vega's right in the middle. Vega's the blood. Vega's like the 22 star race blood. That's what pumps through the Lyra 2. That's what makes Lyra 1 real. See, it all works together, and this is where the multidimensional part comes into play. Because if you're in Lyra 1 and you're creating a being, there's not a rule that says you can't create yourself in Lyra 2. Lyra 2 is going to be having the ability and the body, and it's what you would call the witches, just because we don't have another word for it, but everybody has this ability of transmutation through the body, changing things through your body codes, flushing the energy through your body in order to elevate your body template, not shut it all off and don't let anything in and seal yourself up. It's completely opposite. A lot of beings that have Lyra 2 energy, especially because, remember, there's 2 harps now, because we're writing a new harp right now we're stringing it right now. For all of us who have created this new bloodline, who have created the new templates, who have merged the templates, have merged the Alpha Draconic and the Zeta Reticuli, because it's what it is, have merged and ascended and are evolving and bringing in the ecosystem and to the bubble that we've all been building, and it's all programmed to our new body templates. We're just now gonna get that flush into our body, our physical body, as the sun, like by the 29th. By the 29th. And you can think of it like an IV flush through your body, but like it's gonna be new blood. It's not necessarily red blood. It's not necessarily blue blood. It's a new merge that runs through your system, that your body is programmed, and it's running off all the bits and pieces. And honestly, it's running off the trash. It's how we did it. Now, for everyone that's still unreeling and unweaving from the old sequences, if you have Lyra 1, Lyra 2, Lyra 3, or Vega energy in your chart, then just know that as the sun is approaching Lyra 2, Vega, Lyra 3, because we're leaving Lyra 1 in the next couple of days, that's when you're going to get your flush. And it really is like this harp is closer down on the Milky Way, and this other harp, because we're so expanded, is out here. So it really is like, depending on where you are energetically with the collective, if you're supposed to be unsewing, because you could either unsew and have to go around again just to complete it, and I'm just saying like a year, which is not that long, or you're immediately unbridging and leaping at the same fucking time that the sun is weaving it over here, out here. These new strands, because it's not like, it's more like as we're walking through it, we're not having to weave the whole entire first root race, because we are it. So it's more like the whole root race and the being and the templates and all that have been established. That's what's gone into effect over since they knocked on the door. And everything's been weird and everything's stagnant and a whole bunch of shit's going off and planes are getting brought down in towns that I've done charts on. Not only that, one of the girls in the group, not only that, it was one that I had to correct. Not only that, where that plane went down is on one of my videos whenever I went looking at Google Earth over by Ukraine. Everything, the volcano that went off today, that, what was it, 148 kilometers deep, like it was a 6.8 over there off Korea. They didn't even barely felt it. It was so deep. Well, last two charts that I did, all about subcurrents and deleting those subcurrents, because that's what Epstein and Israel, that's what all of it was about. None of it was about the sex. None of it was about what you'd consider anything. It's more like to them we were game pieces in order for them to control the cosmos, in order for them to control birthing cycles, so that they could program the entire human race to their awful shit. Well, you got a preview of 4 years of what the world would have looked like if they would have succeeded. The whole world. We got a preview of what it would look like if it all succeeded. Well, a lot of that is wrapped up into all of these partnerships that Israel had with all of these other countries in order to keep the secrets of what they did to all the real royals. Every single one of them. The Egyptians in on it because they's letting them in and out of the tombs. They's letting them dig. They's letting them put up different star systems. I mean, all of them. All of them. Every country on this earth that was all working through NATO. That's why it got so weird, and that's why all their stuff in ritualism started coming out, because when they were doing it, it couldn't be hidden this time. That's what they always did. And the only reason that they were assigning their power to even Trump now was because, whoa, my drink fell over. Hold on. Exactly. Because Trump, everything just fell over. But I had a lid on it and nothing spilled. But I had a lid on it and nothing spilled. Now, the problem with this whole damn thing is that this is just what's been going on since the get. This is not new to anybody that knows what the fuck and how this game is played. It's not new in these bloodlines. These bloodlines train and teach this shit. They write stories about themselves in the future in order to bring themselves back. They leave themselves presents in their wills. They leave wills and money to their future self. And see, that wherein lies the problem. Whenever you go mass manipulating, mind fucking people into believing that they're not who that they are, and you try to erase every existence of it coming in, then whenever you can't do that and the being just starts creating new things, then you just follow us around everywhere and then say that it's yours and then offer up a mimic and say, there she is. And I'm married to her. And then you wonder why the queen is dead. But there is no princess because you've got two Epstein girls married to what's left of what might be the only royal status that even existed down here under their weird alpha draconic reptile rule. And Harry and William didn't even hold 20%. But that's okay, because what? Charles has it handled, so he's just going to open up some cosmic some shit, and then they're just going to do what, and realize that they were able to do it before. This is how easy it was for them to exist off all of it. There was a period in this, and I wish I could remember what year it was. I think it might have been 2023. That I was claiming all these royal lines and doing this, and I woke up one morning and it was the weirdest fucking thing, y'all. It was like, y'all know Batman and Alfred, like Alfred, right? Which I had another weird little thing with an Alfred type scenario in 2018, but this was in my head. Because whenever I say I hear this or I hear that, it's not like I hear a voice in my head, for all of you who understand telepathy and how it works and how we read it, But this, I clearly heard a butler in my head. I woke up that morning and I heard, hello, how are you today? I was like, what the fuck? Because it was in my head. And then I heard, Charles, what would you like for breakfast? It's like, what the living fuck is happening right now? Who is in my head asking me what I want for breakfast, and why are they acting? And I'm Charles. Well, I mean, this is back to Andrew and his 72 fucking teddy bears and their weird ass fucking shit that they've done. And how that they were running consciousness through death channels in order to have a butler in their fucking head. It's really hard for us that are just now exploring our powers and finding out we have powers to realize the powers that these beings had and how they had it. Once you start witnessing your own power and connectivity with all of us in the ascended, you start realizing how the connectivity was working on the lowers. And it's terrifying. So right now, the sun is like on that. And if you've got Lyra 1 energy, then it's like you've been queuing up. So then we had the moon that just made that transition through Scorpio during the holidays, which I found super interesting because we've proven Scorpio is the book of John. Like, we're literally rewalking creation right now. He knocked on that door and we all did come out. Gaia did activate as soon as those doors were open. But we've already utilized and cleaned out Scorpio. Scorpio was the book of John. Scorpio had the resurrection in it. That's why it was eagle. So it's literally like this Christmas, we really did birth out of evil. And to the extent that like even the Christmas, and what's so nuts about this is like, you know, the depths of what the intentions were at the beginning when Christmas was started was horrible. How and what it really meant and how it was used to manipulate all of us and Satan's claws and blah 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 blah. But what is amazing about it is that since none of us even knew that that's what the holiday was, and since we had all created memories and created our own reasoning over the years and hundreds of years that we've been celebrating those holidays, and all of the memories and the things that from a human perspective we put together in the Americas from those holidays that we celebrated, especially really kept the holiday alive, and it is going to turn it into something new. But this is the year that it happened. It's like all of our memories of our childhood Christmases and how we felt about it, and how we were taught about it, that it's the birth of Jesus and da 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 da. It really did become what held in the end, is my point. And the things that were birthed out of the most evil are going to be turned into something else if the human collective deems it necessary for a reason, because we have memories and joy and we can turn it into something else. Does that make sense? Right now, the moon is in number 23, Ophiuchus 2. And this is the laws of Ma'at, and this is the highest degree of elementals. It's basically the introduction into the fifth element in every stage. Your Scorpio and your energies in Scorpio are going to be your earth elements, air, fire, water, and earth. Then those energies, once they culminate in Scorpio, and what rises out of that and comes into Ophiuchus right here, is then what makes something else of it. That's why there's no way that a magician is ever going to take on a pharaoh. Their shit's going to come up to us to review it. This is also, if you've got a lot of Scorpio energy, this is totally off the subject of today, but if you've got a lot of Scorpio energy, and you guys, when y'all get activated and then you realize some of your gifts and powers, then everyone gets a little fearful to use them all of a sudden. And that's, when you find out about them, that's whenever you should start playing with them to use them, because there's nothing that you can screw up. There's nothing that you can screw up, because if you do make a little mistake, Okay? When it gets up here, then, and this is why I call it dragon training. When the energy gets up here, we're going to catch it, and it's going to point back to you, and then it's going to get fixed a little bit, but we know but it's just a little fix in order to show you where you screwed up or deliver to you what you did because you did it correctly. Does that make sense? I mean, you got to master Scorpio before you can even start to think about Sagittarius. Because Scorpio, all of it's in one bag. You get to Sagittarius, now it's going to be flipped from 3 different dimensions. 2 of them are in space, and then you've got to beam it down to Gemini, and then it fracks 5 times. That's why all these little witches, wizards, and warlocks and shit, oh God, give me just everybody needs to like sit down. We just command everyone sit down, put your wands down, put your hands in your lap. You can't create a little triangle with your fingers, not even a heart. Just sit there. Put your hands on your lap. Just sit there. And watch how it plays out. So the moon is going over number 23, and I actually pulled cards and it came out. So, and this is again, this is like the 5th element. This is the laws of Ma'at. This is the consciousness of Egypt, the energy that was there in Egypt, what you would call the God particle, what you would call the new physics. Turn back on. This is where it's coming in at. That's where the moon is right there, right now. Venus is what started this conversation because Venus is at Heaven's Gate. We're at Cygnus. Cygnus started at 21 degrees is the orb, but Cygnus dead on is 23. And Cygnus is the angelic realm. Cygnus is all of your dead relatives and your most ancient ones and how they exist all the way back to 1. And wherever Venus is as a collective, it's where we are. So literally right now, since Christmas Day, and all of this has resurrected in a weird, and you have reports of people feeling different things. You have different reports of people in the masses since Christmas is over saying, okay, everything looks weird outside. It's not scary. It's just silent. There's fog everywhere. Nothing's moving. Everything's stagnant. Exactly. Venus is at Heaven's Gate, man. What's wrong with the picture? What's wrong with the picture? You know, this is what, you know, all of us knew. You know, for all of those who give us credit for keeping going and all that and give us all this praise and this heroes and all that, like, we'll take it. We will. And we love it that you feel that way. But for us, we didn't have any other choice when we did it. Every single move that we made, we knew that it was either completely die and the human race die, or different pieces of the human race die, or fucking do it. And so we really didn't have a choice. We just had to go for it and pray. But the reason is we knew heaven fell to hell. We knew that that there was no ascension path. The gate had fallen. The whole thing, the whole Heaven's Gate and how it all works, whenever your soul ascends, that whole infrastructure had fallen into a lower dimension. and had all been acted out without you in another dimension. Epstein. I just had to pause right there because my mind can't even. I'm just. It's like I'm looking out. It's like I feel like I'm up here with Venus and I'm looking at heaven. And to me, what I'm seeing right now, and I'll just tell you from my third eye, is a deserted. It looks gray. Nothing looks alive. Everything's ashy. There's a bunch of trees. There's no leaves. It almost looks like a snow wasteland, but I don't see any snow. You know why? Fell down here. It fell down here. And it actually is when heaven fell into hell, I believe it is how we reformed our etheric body. It took a long time. It is the original 7 gates of the underworld. We had to build the foundation. Those 7 gates had to be formed. It's why the Isis Osiris story was even formed. It's how the Princess and the Eve line was even formed. That's why Lilith was so pissed off. Lilith is like, really? You're gonna clone me. You're gonna clone me, but then you're gonna bind me to Adam and make her bound to him, but she's me. All because you want some girl to suck your dick and lay on your back and take care of your children and make your dinner, and how dare I have my own opinion? But she looks just like me. She's got my same personality, but she ain't me. She's just hinged and tied to you. So she has to do everything you say you do. Then over time, you make enough of those Eves, it starts killing Lilith. Then you got a whole world of Eves. Then you have a whole bunch of men binding men to them to do the whole thing because everybody just wants to be a feminine Eve. And then the only ones that are freaking bold enough to stand up to them, then you call us crazy? See, and all this is going on still because Mars is in retrograde, and we're still, man, Mars has been moving slow since it got in the Cub degrees. This is the Cub degrees of Leo. This is like us saying all Hispanic men typically have brown hair, brown eyes, and brown in an olive skin tone. That why? What's the connection through all the Hispanics and all the Swedish people that they look the same? What is that? That's the beginning of Leo degrees. It's changing throughout the lines right now. All Leo races. All Leo races. They got whatever DNA line they made down here from whatever, they got to make room for all of us that just stepping out of heaven. The whole screen and the production and the movie and everything is being formulated now. We just blew up the theater, like not blew it up like as in kaboom, like expanded it to where now everyone sees the whole theater. They don't just see one little screen. They don't just see one screen right here and one little audience. Now everyone's seeing, oh my God, there was a screen over here. There was a screen behind me. There was a screen over here. There was a screen over here. There's a screen over here. And the people that were on here weren't even real. Venus is blowing it up. Venus is like, look, open the steeple, see all the people. Venus is going, there they all are. There's your missing children. There's this, there's that, there's this, there's that. It's all up here in which you can, it's all up here. We're all here. I don't know why you can't see me. I don't know how this screen's picking up this, but the story's being rewritten. This whole stage is being opened up before it even gets into Pisces. It gets into Pisces. When it gets to Fomalhaut, 3 degrees Pisces, it's like a beam. Like, straight down, 3 degrees Virgo. When that happens, it's like, and then Virgo, it hits 3 degrees Virgo, and then that's all 4 archangels, the highest sequence, and boom, it like upgrades the whole thing like in an instant and opens the whole thing up. That's what Venus is preparing us for. That's what Venus has just stepped into the gate. We're in heaven's door. We're like, oh shit, what the fuck? Okay, then this isn't where we're supposed to be, but we knew that. We are not going to heaven. Like, that's the problem. We were supposed to be in heaven. Most of us should be dead right now. Along with at least, I mean, there were only 4 billion in the numbers in the Bible that should be here. And that's what's happening differently this time. This is why we're having to create this new creator race, because this time, whenever we get up here to Pisces, and it normally what happens with the energy, and let me explain this, because remember, you're going through the wheel. You got to get everything through the wheel. And all I'm showing you is how the energy moves through the wheel over time, so that you understand how all this stuff is getting created. So Venus, what happens here is you come in through Aquarius. Aquarius is like a screen. It's like the veil. It's the veil of illusions, because Aquarius is air, but it's more like bit particles, pixelation, little beams, little fractal twinkle dusts. So it's an illusionary field. You get to 3 degrees. That's where the wizard is. You get, so there's like a little, then you're on the yellow brick road. You're seeing all the beings that are bound to death, because that's how because the wizard is only acknowledged as a wizard at 3 degrees because he's holding this death up here from the ancients because of the simulation, because that's how Aquarius was coiled up in the whole thing in the cosmos in order to keep repeating the Aquarian age that they controlled, because it wasn't completing the wheel. This is how the Pisces age got stuck for when you walk through the path, you get to the gate, then you're in a huge bubble right here. It's like a huge bubble that's holding a bubble within a bubble. It's in a bubble of death and the souls that are attached to different timelines that all died from Leo, the king and queen counts of every single DNA line and mammal line down here, and is holding that in this energy for like a big huge bag of pixelated energies that are moving together, that are in this sequence, this one, depending how old each one of them is. As that moves into Pisces, now it's moving into a flow energy, because Aquarius is like, Pisces is like, it's gonna be water, but it's like the ocean, it's not like a little ripple. It's like a wave force. Like if this is underneath the water and this is a big huge bubble that's gonna force its way into a huge tank of water, and you know how you see that bubble go boo and it's going through the water, and then you watch it and it's doing all this stuff. Well, that's what the beginning degrees of Pisces is. It's coming in. And this is where the cosmic eye is at 3 degrees. That's where Fomalhaut is, number 31. That's Archangel Gabriel. Now, this is when it's coming across the pupil, this eye, what happens is this bubble in that force and density of Pisces splits into 2. As it comes into 6 degrees, Now, this one bubble that all of us were together, that's moving together through this force, now it's going to split, and it's going to be one that's going to be ready to come back down, and the other one's going to start pulling away more and more because it's going to go back into Aquarius. The other ones were the one that are coming back down out of Pisces into Aries. That's incarnation. That's reincarnation. The problem is you always either had to go up or down. The problem is that's a wheel wherever your soul is split into two. We ain't doing that this time. There's no need for it. The wheel's been broken. So it's what, and this is how this space station, hybrid number 32 space station, appeared right here. Because basically you can think of it as these two forces and channels started flowing like this. It created a missing piece in the middle, kind of like your midsection. And so the widest parts of you were getting separated, but it was being separated from the middle. And we need both parts of us now. We've completed the whole thing. So now it's like this hybrid space station that a lot of y'all have in number 32. And if you have that energy, then you've changed a lot over the past 6 years, because that Zeta Reticuli energy has been what we've been training about your etheric bodies as we're discovering it, teaching everybody about it, because this is what we didn't have any knowledge of. And this is how they were able to control our etheric body, because we were never taught that we had one. So they made that little space station thing up there. That program is you can't survive if you leave the ship. And you'd have no superpowers unless you mind the rules and get certain suits to put on to give you superpowers, and you think that you can't leave the ship. Well, that's the program. But we've really taken that whole thing over as a collective, and we've used it as a waiting room, basically, because remember, the true node of the collective is about to go, oh, look. The true node of the collective is about to go into Pisces, and so it's like we're all getting prepared for this to be activated. So it's like people are blowing out of the matrix, and energetically, if they blow out of the matrix and they don't have an etheric body, it's like energetically they're being thrown into the number 32 hybrid space station right here, and then they're starting training to get ready to jump out of the ship with everybody that's on the ship that already somewhat understands how it works. But every new person that comes into the ship, we find new bells and whistles and new gifts and ways to utilize it. So every single person that jumps on the ship that's blowing out of the matrix, whether they realize that that's where a piece of them are or not, that are going through this training, every single time a new person comes on the ship, it's like it kind of scrabbles everybody on the ship for a minute, because it changes the frequency of everything. And it's it's like all of our powers kind of take on a new energetic, and then have some type of macro ability that gets turned on even bigger every single time somebody else comes on the ship, because we all work together. So it's like the more people that are on the ship, the more parts we have to make the ship run. Then when it's time in the next 7 years, especially the next 3 years, for the beings to jump out of that ship, and I don't care if you have 32 or not, this is just a process of getting you out of the wheel. The ones of you who do have number 32, a lot of you that are on here, and the ones, if you don't know it yet, like that's why you're getting involved in the research, and you're getting involved in the body stuff, and you're getting involved as a collective, because now you're realizing, oh my gosh, I'm onboarding a bunch of people. I'm on the ship. I've been on the ship for a long time. I know how this ship works, and everything's changed, like Justia said, in the last 4 years. We used to not think that we could run this ship. Now we know we can. So come on in. We have some questions to ask you. And oh my God, hold on right now. Everyone's upgrading because you just walked in the room. So we got to like let that settle first and see how that comes out. But all of you who have 32, just that's what it is. You are putting back together your etheric body with a specific collective. And most of you are coming out of some type of harvesting system, or you've put yourself back into the wheel in order to resurrect now, which is why you were here in this lifetime, literally. And these are things that you can't do independently, although everyone in the world wants to think that you can. Everyone in the world wants to think, okay, when it's time for me to ascend, it just happens for me, and it's only going to be for me, and it's going to be me and me alone. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. The energy flushes through. The energy is going to hit whoever it's ready for it to hit. It happens in a huge, huge cosmic energy waves. And if you're there early, then, I mean, because that's what happened to us. We got there 2 years early. Actually, we were here as my original collective was here at this point that I'm talking about right now in 2018. And the reason 2019 happened and I blew out of the matrix and blah, 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 and everything happened after that is because there weren't enough of us to drive the ship. We all got up there and we were like, fuck. Because there were only like 4 of us on the whole planet. 4 of us that got out of all our shit, all our original stuff. We had already cleared all our shit. We had already gotten out of our original mission of why we were here, connected everything we were supposed to, and it got like 4 of us out. So we went back in. And when we went back in, we had to go in and deal with the industry. We had to go find the rest of us. Well, a lot of us were tied up in the industry, lo and behold. Which is why we're even dealing with these fucks. Do you think that the Most High would make me deal with Jason Momoa, Henry Cavill, and Prince Hamden, and Tom Hardy, and all these fucked up characters that they filled my world with, when I took on my son's DNA to go back in? Because like I said, I had already cleaned all mine. I didn't even have a timeline to go back in. All I did was merge with my then, 10-year-old son? No, younger than that. Younger than that. Hold on, let me think. He was 9. He was 9 years old. I brought my son up here under an eclipse, and he handed me his DNA, and I started cleaning my son's DNA at the end of 2018 or the beginning of 2019 when that eclipse hit. Everything that happened to me and the collective from the beginning of 2019 until now was all of us cleaning the karma set on our children, not us. We had already cleaned it. We had already gotten out. Now tell me how the hell the entire industry, a Jason Momoa, a Henry Cavill, a Dubai Prince, is all running off my 9-year-old's codes. Now, I was supposed to be cleaning my divine masculine's DNA. But they had already made a way a long time ago to where we were cleaning it and they never even met us. And I've been hovering right here. Saturn at 14 in Pisces, because this is that split, you know. It's kind of when this orb these two flows channels opens up. This one's going that way, this one's going that way. Well, you remember, this is all about negative space. So it's like what I'm seeing in Pisces whenever these two, well, let's just look at it. I know my videos are long, but hell, it's nice to just be on a channel talking about this, because it's so hard to find anything to watch and to, I mean, honestly, like, is that the spaceship? Like, is that the galactic command right there? Because it's all about negative space. That's the feminine. The feminine, when you're talking about the feminine of anything, you ain't talking about the fish on this card. You're talking about all the space around the fish and how that space formed the organics of the skin that formed the fish. So whenever you're talking about the feminine, you're talking about the unseen, because it's so massive that it's unseen, the creation process. See, and there's the delta, and this is what we hooked in Aries. I'm pretty sure. It's like once you get past the eye and you start coming, then that's when this starts splitting. But whenever you're the whole thing, then you start getting torn apart. One group's going to come back down here. The rest of you is going to go this side. But this is whenever you were splitting souls and everyone was in these weird little groups and whatever else. That's what this was, the bridge. Christ is the bridge. This is what all this was about. It was about getting out of the Pisces era. I mean, are we just now coming out of age Pisces? Because energetically, what's happening this time is that this right here is how we expanded it. Because, like, these were going out here and we were like, wait, like. And this is how we expanded out. Because this was like the processing to where you were getting out here, but there wasn't anywhere for us to go. Space had blown up. That's why we were here fixing it. So it's like this didn't contract. This held out in Pisces like another net. It was like another net that was out here. So it's then we came back in. We went through the whole system. I know I did. Because I let him take me I let him take me down. They processed me. It's why I went raw. See, and we're still coming through the system. We went back into the system with the people. We're getting our etheric bodies put back on just like everybody else. We already had them, but now the etheric body that's going on, that's coming back on all of us ancients, is connected to all of you now. It's even why my YouTube channel is finally getting more views, right? This video right here isn't for everybody. But it's things are starting to change. But it's because even us ancients, well, us feminine ancients, see, this is where these men that put on these Joseph Amazing Dream coats on our old codes, they're fucked. It's literally, it's like they thought that they were getting all the pieces to put on around them like this new amazing skin suit. And instead, once they got it, and when they got it, it's like we had an illusion on it to make it, they thought like the whole time it was sitting there, it was this amazing like new skin suit with all these powers, like the new, like the new ones that we're going to actually be wearing. And the whole time it was dead body parts, and it like stinks and shit, and they couldn't even see it. They were like putting it on like it was some Lamborghini Gucci outfit, and they couldn't even see, you know, that it was a zombie suit. That's why we warned them, because now what's going to happen is we come through here, it's like we're kind of, it's more like we're shooting through this direction, because this energy is going to merge down with this, because it's merging and bringing in a new energetic into what you'd call Aries, but the record got way bigger because we had to break the record. I mean, we had to break the wheel. The wheel has a skip in it now. Yeah, we saw it happen too. Did y'all see this? This is from Christmas Day. This is from Christmas Day. Look at that. It happened twice, and it happened like in the blink of an eye. But what he saw was that it was like it got magnetized, like something magnetized and picked up the energy, and a light source was flying around and like sketched it. And I was like, oh my God. See, this is why I'm even ordering the sun to blink. And when I was finishing up that last chart, my lamp started blinking just a little bit. But even see how this looks uneven? If you look at it from afar, it looks like it's wampa-jawed. See? There's like a back door. And that's because this whole thing is getting lifted up into a higher energy pattern, energy sequence, and it's literally having to float up and catch a new balance. It's having to float up and catch a new balance. This is a storm. We had all these tornadoes that flew through here. This was a storm, and then Houston, El Campo, like some different areas had the flooding. I had a possum appear in my backyard Monday. He's a big sucker too. That was my first sign. All right. What's up? Let me see real quick. I want to try to find one thing. If y'all have any questions, let me know. I've been on here a little over an hour. Let me see. I think maybe I can find it here. Oh, is that it? Now this is, I think, World News Reports. I'll make sure to clarify. World News Today, I think. And this,
all right, ladies and gentlemen,
This is from the tornadoes yesterday.
Got tornadoes on the ground.
And this is, see how this is clearing from down in Corpus Christi, Port Aransas?
Today.
You had named Birch in your notes you went over while I was holding some Christmas. I heard the word Birch come up. Great. Oh, well, I'm going to clack my heels. Clink, clink. Wasn't me. They might have been trying to make it me. Lord. And that's even interesting. See, that's coming in right now because you guys had to get on. Remember the other day I was crying. I had so much pressure on me and I was crying and y'all all sent me love and blah, blah, blah. Y'all, this is the pressure that was building up on me. I'm right here. Down here is Corpus Christi, and when we flip, when the new Earth energy came in, and I brought it in, I was down here in Corpus Christi, Port Aransas. It happened in 2018, and this when y'all sent me that energy, and then that night, whenever I went to sleep, after y'all sent that energy, or it might have been the night before last. Oh, it was the night that I did the last live when I had that big successful live with over the 2,000 views, and I was on here for like over 2 hours, almost 3, and when I went to sleep that night, everything that I said on that video about how to transmute demonic energy ended up coming to pass. When I laid down, I started seeing and feeling some type of energy, and I knew I had to basically blow up my energy field, and exactly what I said on that video on how we transmute energy and power is exactly what my mind just did naturally when I did it. But it's like I knew we basically like stood up in another dimension, like a big freaking power source. And this was the video when we had that demon guy on here and all that was going on because they did send something. One of them warned me the CIA was on there, and then that psychologist came on. Remember? Well, they did something right there. Okay, because whenever I laid down that night, I saw we something happened. Well, Dawn also had some dreams and previews, and she would be able to say this better than me because I might lose the details, but she knew that I was in trouble. And it was on the video. Well, it was on the video with that demon guy, and that he was basically she did something then with his energy. And I had already had a few of y'all at different times, especially up in Oregon, and I think maybe Australia, and then I did it here. I put water over the past 2 weeks. I put water in a bag and then went and punched holes in it, and because that's what I do to make it rain. And basically, if there's any energy that's hovering over your house and you feel like it needs to dump some energy, okay, go get a plastic baggie and punch holes in the bottom, and you can do it in the sink, you can do it outside, whatever, but your intention is to poke holes in that atmosphere and then let it drain, let it come down, release the energy. Well, we had a few of us had done that, and when that energy, and y'all did this, y'all blew these grids, y'all blew this is an alpha draconic. I want see how this storm see how this storm is clearing, and it's clearing up out of the grids, and it's like pulling it. Let me show you. Now see how these lightning are staking up? Now look right here. See? Stop moving. Watch. See how it's sticking and leaving residue? See that? Okay, that's why he thought it was manipulation. I know that we blew that grid. It was the new earth energy because it came out of Corpus Christi, and that's where we put it. And it even had to do with Aransas Pass and the ferry. And Norma Jean and Tanja even walked that, ended up on a ferry, ended up meeting a freaking physicist for CERN on the ferry. Like, that had even been rewalked in a different dimension, and that had to do with all of this energy connected down into Corpus Christi and Port Aransas. And just to remind you, like, Brownsville and all the Elon Musk shit and all that is right here, and Corpus Christi is right down here, and Port Aransas, well, that's where that energy came in, and that's exactly where that storm came. And it blew that grid. And when that, in the cloud seeding is forming like a Mercury field that was working like a green screen projector up in the sky, like right above us, in the atmosphere right above us, with how they were doing cloud seeding, was like going into a drive-in movie for them. Different screens and different energies that are projecting, they're wrapping it and curving it to make it project in certain directions. And there was one right there. And this is also on the straight up tied into here, because the dragon's back was right here. See, they bound us in Galveston, and all that stuff that happened to me with the MRI machines, and when they put me in the chamber and all that, the original stuff and experimentation they did on me was in Galveston. In I guess it was before 1983, so it would have been like 1982 or 1981. There was only one MRI machine in all of Texas. Doesn't that blow your mind? And I had to get one. And so I had to go down to Galveston at the Navy base in order to get it. Well, right after I got that MRI is then when they did the Galveston stuff on me with the things in my neck. And then right after is when they started putting me in the submarine hypo chamber. The link is in the Gulf. The energetic connection is from like right here. Because if it's Galveston, which is right here, and then New Orleans, so it'd be like right off the coast right there, and probably they have something out here associated to Brownsville that's tied into it. So there's probably something out here tied to here. But the true current, the true being and where that energy was coming out of is probably right about there. See, and that's exactly in line up where that Helene came through. Because this whole ocean floor... Hold on a minute. Do I have Google Earth on here? Geez, where's all my Google Earth stuff? I wish you could play music on YouTube. YouTube, you need to start letting people play music. Well, we ended, where are we? Lord, I always like to look where I ended. I think I was in Dubai. Yeah. No. Yeah. We've been over there. What I wanted to look at was, if I go right here. Now, what's interesting about this slit right here is that a lot of us have this on the back of our skull, almost, and it's one that you won't even know is there. Like, next time you have someone around, just look on the back of your head, like right in the middle of your head, off to the left just a little bit. It's not smack dab in the center. It's like if you were to do your part all the way down the center, you wouldn't see it. If you have one, it's to the left of the part, in the left side of the head. And a lot of us have this scar, and it literally looks just like that. Now, what I was thinking is, okay, where is that on the opposite? Oh, looky there. Well, I mean, the Black Sea was probably the first footstep, like way the fuck back. And, you know, Dubai is all involved in my stuff. And even the last time I talked to Hamden, and I was like, man, I'm not in there. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm not in there. And I didn't even know exactly what I was saying to him, but I was telling him I'm not. I knew that they thought that they had me like somewhere held underground somehow. And I felt like it was underwater. I mean, and that was a while ago. That's probably been about a year ago that I had my last correspondence with him in that manner. But it was, hey man, I'm not in there. And he said, if what you're saying is true, then we have a serious problem on our hands. And I was like, you better go tell your dad I'm not in there. It's almost like when they dropped me in that submarine, because I went 45. I can't remember if it was 45 or 25 feet below sea level. I knew it took me 45 minutes to decompress to come in and out of it both fucking directions. And look, so like if you're inside the core, like not on the outside, like if you're inside the core, well then you're next, it's all that ocean and then Antarctica. That's a big seahorse. I mean, an FYI, that command was pulling this dragon. That's our ocean. Out. Like, I'm not fucking with it anymore. Get us the fuck out of here. This is the way it's gonna be. Seriously. Evidently, I gotta go full freaking high priestess on this shit. So let's just do it while we can. That's how I feel about it. I can't even find right now. Oh my God, what am I doing? Wake up. Yo, big prehistoric animal, I need you to raise your head. Our problems will be over. I command you lift your head. Oh, and look, if that is a big prehistoric head, then look, where's that? C3 spine. Look at that. If that's the head, and then this is the neck. I don't know what I'm looking for, to be honest with you. I'm just kind of looking. I don't know. It's like I'm seeing that energy, because that energy force is going to come through kind of like and crack this thing open. I'm kind of seeing how this little scallop right here is in trouble. And now I'm trying to figure out where this little scallop is. Where is this? Alaska. Oh, well, that makes a whole lot of sense. And what is this? I'm so bad with Russia, of course. And this even has something to do with Pisces, y'all. It's like I'm kind of seeing this is where these two currents went the opposite direction, because that energy can't go straight over here. It's hitting these currents first, and now it's going under. Does that make sense? That was the Bering Sea where the land bridge was. Ah, you said was. The land bridge not there anymore? Ah. Hold on a minute. You said it was the Bering Sea? Just out of curiosity, I want to see if it spins. So anyway, while I'm doing this, just bullshitting, I was like, I'm so done. Like, I'm so tired of being stuck in my house. I'm so freaking sick of it. Galveston is just disgusting, by the way. Like, all these shit they've been doing over here is, like, real crazy. Now, the fuck? I'm literally seeing a tail right here. Do y'all see that? It looks like a tail or a vertebrae and like something harnessed right here. Whoa. Oh my Jesus Lord. Looks like a bone. Look at that. See how they got it gridded off. Okay, so if this goes this direction, let's keep going with that. Is that the connection into the Mississippi? Getting dinosaurs of some type, and it's probably, yeah, it's what I'm wondering if it's like tagged down here and then it because everything's underneath. See, and this is where Memphis is, because this is where, damn, I wish I could remember what that cemetery was called. Let me just see if I can look up Masonic. Because what was crazy about my journey is I was just led there. Like, I didn't look up shit. Masonic. I just, like, I'd be driving around and I'd end up at the Masonic cemetery. Yeah, no, I can't look it up that way. It's by Neptune Street, though, I think. Let me... I'm tired of being, I've been thinking about doing something for New Year's. And I was like, the only thing that had come up so far was to go to this concert by Rockwall, which is where I got set up with all this AI stuff. And like, it's the only place I was really being pulled that I saw anything to like go do. And so I was like, today, I don't think I'm going to go. Which sucks because I wanted to go do something. I honestly don't know anybody here anymore. It's so crazy. I lived in Texas my whole life, and it's like I know nobody in Texas anymore. Like, nobody. Well, there's the Mississippi. Maybe one day I'll go try to find that cemetery because it's a trip. Let me just try one thing real quick, because Corpus Christi one was the base root of it. See, Corpus Christi was even the base root of the Masonic cemeteries. Corpus Christi is where, like, this is where the original heart sequence energy came in on the planet. It's why it's called Corpus Christi. It's why my name was Christy. This is what's over here. Those are clouds, like low clouds. And this is where the new earth energy came in. There's Aransas Pass. This is where I had to get off of over here. I was staying over here. And I had to come across this ferry needle, and when I started coming across this ferry, I started going the wrong way on a one-way, and they had to shut down all the traffic in order to get me off the road, because this road like spins on this water like it's one way. And when I got done getting off of it, oh my God, I've never been so dizzy in my life. And I purposely did it because I needed him to stop the traffic, and I needed to be on the bridge whenever they changed the sequence. But whatever I did with that in 2018 on the way to bring in the new energy is what was released. The pressure was released out of that field yesterday, and those hurricanes and I said hurricanes. So probably the hurricanes too that formed, and now the tornadoes that formed were pulling from the ground connections that were harnessing that energetic that I brought in for the collective, with the collective, back in fucking 2018 is what I'm saying. And what's nuts is that the whole world went cray on it and attached all their shit to what was harnessed from here. And so it's changing everything. Because it's no longer harnessed. And we commanded the key to be turned too. So I don't know. All I know is that this water mass that they've got all dammed up is basically like a giant wing pattern of space, if you will, that if this bitch has to crack open, it just unfolds open and flies. I know that. Like, we don't need anything below it now. We can literally pick the whole thing up and travel. Whatever's harnessed down underneath it ain't gonna sustain. We'll just move right off of it. But the people and the homes and all that, from the illusion that it's all working now, and the cosmic illusion of how we thought it was all laid out in a flat earth, it wasn't round anyway. How they had it laid out from everyone else's perspective, we could all be cruising at high altitude and nobody changed a thing except their frequency and their patterns, in order to make shit happen in that energetic. Because if you're not harnessed down into a core system, then sucking from right to left, so anyway, I think that's it. I'm just trying to see. Oh, the other thing I did, and the reason that this is all happening subcurrent, so I'll just close it up with this, because the reason, because I haven't talked about it in any other videos, so if you're still on, if you're still here, then you're into it. But all this sub shit is happening because of what am I doing? Because Jupiter, remember I told you Jupiter's going to be backing up, and it's going to be going over all those undercurrents. Because right here, this is raw. It's raw consciousness is what I call it. But it's connected to Rigel. And this used to be an Alpha Draconic Stargate right here at 16. Coming in this direction and pushing from this direction. So that's why the pyramids all went, the Queen's Chamber and King's Chamber went to Rigel. We were equipped to deal with Rigel. We just weren't equipped to deal with Zeta Reticuli Rigel. That's a whole new beast that we weren't familiar with. Well, that's because this is all goes into a depths right here. It's all those undercurrents that are connected in the middle, just like we're trying to picture in the middle of the earth, and how those were in Gemini connected to all the stuff in deep space and Ophiuchus and the mummies and everything, the cosmic templates and line up, and even the galactic stuff, because Ophiuchus is not galactic. Ophiuchus is more ancient than galactic. Galactic was made from Ophiuchus. That's why you don't know about Ophiuchus, you only know about galactic. Galactic would be more Antares and everything on the outside of the Milky Way, on the way into the Milky Way. Ophiuchus is some ancient way out shit, further out than Vegas and Vega. God, I don't want to say Vegas, but exactly. Because, see, in the simulation, we're starting to realize that the whole thing, like, different parts of the world were, Iran was Mars, like, there's different ones of them that were different things. California was, like, stretched out to the Pleiades. That's why they had taken over that whole birthing canal. That's why that's why the tunnel systems and shit that were there. See, everything was, instead of it being, and the stuff going up, and the energies of the collective building energies up, they were building them down. But shit, everything was upside down. Like, north was south, east was west. So, I don't know. But it's all, that's why all of this sub stuff, and even that volcano that was so deep, that's why it went off, because, and that's what's going to be disconnecting, is all of these the most original subcurrents that are going from Sagittarius to Gemini, because all that energy that's underneath is getting cut, because everything's magnetizing up. There isn't enough force to keep it down. Connected, and this is number 6, raw consciousness. This is Egyptian root race. Terra, Ma'at, raw princesses, connected to earth elements and stories that wielded power over them. From history we learn, feminine, don't worship, become, embody. How can you alchemize the issue through you with the earth? And ancestors guide you to the root. And that's basically what this whole video has been about. It's been about the alchemy process of Jupiter and the energies that we were feeling at the start of this video, and everything that I've talked about in these sub-chambers, and how we have connections to sub-chambers and over chambers, but different ones of us have more sub chambers. The more divine feminine energy you have, the more sub you're going to be. And then one last thing. because I just saw this today for the first time, and you know how I am with my phonetics. So it was really nuts that I was just for the first time seeing it. But this word right here, spelled backwards, is I see so much in that, so I'm just gonna let your mind. Dawn. There's Dawn. And also, cult is in there. CULT. So, but the first thing I saw was like Jupiter, and then also Lucifer, but then CULT. And then this is just Aztec to me all day, which is interesting because 29 Palms and those connections that they took over in the desert. Because when I was in the desert at Joshua Tree, we found an underground road and tunnel system called Babylon Strait underneath the mountains. And it even made me think, like, are they right there? Like, is this how all these motherfuckers are getting in over here? Like, what the fuck? But there's hidden streets and mountains and all that underneath over there in Joshua Tree in those mountains. There's roads. They're on the goddamn map. I got my map to register it in Waze. I got pictures. And all that stuff over there and 29 Palms right there outside of Joshua Tree is linked into the divine feminine and our original Indian roots, because the divine feminine comes from the Aborigine people and is the direct descendant of the most ancient beings that are down here that have ever been involved in everything in the past million years. That's what the divine feminine is. We're not clones. We cannot be cloned. That was the problem. They tried. Fucked up the DNA. I mean, the reason that the divine masculines that the masculines were so screwed up is because they cloned a divine masculine. Actually, they cloned a divine masculine, and then it became like a dark and light masculine, and then the dark masculine was cloned. So because the dark masculine became the one that was sacrificed. Okay. So basically the sacrificed one, who the family had all their karma and everything wrapped up in, because that child died because it was supposed to be dead, because it was your karma, because you sacrificed your child for your wealth and everything else. They cloned that one. And then that in the right sequence, basically, in order to bring their son back to life. And so what it did was blew the whole fucking genome, because they recreated a masculine from a karmic dead masculine. Divine feminine and the earth and the God and Terra and all that, we're the group that's linked into all original DNA lines that have ever lived down here that are connected into this planet. And all the star stuff that was produced from it in order to save it and everything else. But, there's groups of us that have been down here long enough that we've lived both paths, up and down. And some of them up and down the past 7 years, 3 or 4 times. Most of the human race will only experience an upward moment, feeling like they're coming upward and birthing out of it from an earth perspective, ascending up, whereas the ones that are coming from the stars feel like they're having to descend down because their energy is too high, but they weren't manifesting with the human race. They're having to ascend their energy down and connect it into the human race that's currently here. That's why they were stuck in the ethers. They no longer matched the human race. So, love you guys. It's 9:36 p.m. on Friday, December 27th. And I'll be back. Go check out Kohu32.com. Check out House of Koji. Check it out. Check it out. I'll be back on to tell you more. Bye, guys.